Hello everybody! Today we will discuss how to create apps for iOS and Android without coding. That sounds awesome, right? But it is even possible? Finally, the designers and developers teams can work together to transform designs in code at a click of a button by using Adobe XD and Flutter. Not only you don't need to know to code, but you don't even need to know to design in order to try the tools for yourself. I will explain you how shortly. Few words about me. I'm a software engineer at Accenture and I am a Romanian Italian American citizen. Here is our agenda for today. First, we will touch on what is Adobe XD. Then we will go to see what is Flutter. We will cover how to get started and then how to transform designs in code with a quick demo. Then we will close with the advantages of using these tools and a short Q&A. Now let's deep dive into our presentation and see why you should use Adobe XD and Flutter. I have a question. How many of you in the audience have ever assisted to meetings where designers and developers didn't agree with the outcome of their work? I think all of us had at a certain point, right? For years, designers and developers worked on their own without so much interaction during the process. So I will tell you a story about a designer and a developer, Linda and Taylor. Taylor is an amazing designer and it conveys the user story in her designs. Unfortunately, Linda, the developer, has some code base and device limitation on what can be delivered. The designer will build beautiful UI interfaces, but when the developers went to integrate those designs, there were always limitations on what can be translated into code. Until now, when Flutter and Adobe XD brought into the collaboration between teams. Let's analyze the before and after. Before, the designer and developer will work individually and not as a team. Then the designer will hand the final UI product to the developer and start the back and forth conversation. Always before, the developer had to write the code 3 times, once for each platform, and had to maintain the code for the 3 different platforms. It was a pretty frustrating conversation for both of them and never ended in happy terms. There were always sacrifices to be made in terms of design to build the final product, but not anymore. Flutter in 2019 brought the collaboration between the iOS and Android teams to work on the same code base to build beautiful UI apps. With the Adobe XD collaboration with Flutter, we'll bring the UI designer into picture for a more complete team collaboration. Let's go to see what is Adobe XD. Adobe XD helps designers craft prototypes that look and feel like the real thing. So the designer can communicate the design vision and maintain alignment across the team efficiently. Adobe XD is a powerful, easy-to-use vector-based user experience design tool for web apps and mobile apps that gives teams the tools they need to craft the world's best experiences collaboratively. Then we can go to export those designs into code. Adobe XD is available for macOS and Windows. Now, let's see what is Flutter. Flutter is Google's UI toolkit for building beautiful, natively compiled applications for mobile, web, and desktop from a single code base. Flutter is open source and is used to develop applications for Android, iOS, Linux, Macs, Windows, and the web from a single code base. As you can see, Flutter is adopted by many companies nowadays. In this way, Lita and Taylor can work together when designing and developing apps by avoiding this back and forth process that is so much time consuming. So, as you can see, there is a better way to work as a team and be more collaborative and productive by using Adobe XD and Flutter plugin. As you can see in this GIF, there are only few steps where you can go from the idea to prototype to sharing faster. Then hand off to developers, and all of this by using free tools. We will break down this process in the next slides. How to get started? First of all, you will have to install the Flutter SDK. You will find in the resources slide at the end of the presentation all the links that we will mention throughout this presentation. Then you will have to set up your code editor of preference and install Flutter and Dart extensions. Then in Adobe XD, you will have to install the XD to Flutter extension. When you are ready, everything you have to do is just go to export all your widgets and all your images. By opening your design in Adobe XD, you will translate that design into code on a click of a button. Let's go now to see how with a quick demo. Now let's go to see all of this into action. First of all, you will have to download and install Adobe XD into your computer. Then you will have to install the Flutter SDK, set up your editor of choice, and run your first Flutter app boilerplate that we will need it when we will export the design into code. Then, after doing so, you can go to install the Adobe XD plugin that you will need it later. To follow along with my demo, you will have to download this UI kit for Adobe XD that it's free. Then, open it in Adobe XD. When you are ready, go to the plugins icon, click on the button. First of all, you will have to set up the path to the folder where you have your Flutter boilerplate. And just click Export All Widgets and export all images. After exporting all your widgets and images, go to your code editor, clean up a little bit your app, then go to pub/spec YAML file and import this Adobe XD and Flutter launcher icons packages. Then you are ready to run your app and see the final result. Pretty close to our Adobe XD design, right? Not bad at all. Let's go back to our presentation now. Now, Flutter got support for CodePen, and you can export all the components that you made in Flutter as code, and you can copy and paste the code in CodePen editor and share it with others. Here you can see the Flutter mascot. Here is mine, the dash, that the Flutter team is very proud of it. Let's now talk about advantages of using Adobe XD and Flutter. These are real-time collaboration and production-ready apps in no time. Adobe XD meets all the needs of designers and offers great operational features for everyone involved in the project. For designers when working on a project, either web or mobile, a great design tool comes down to a platform that helps them efficiently and effectively translate their ideas into visuals along with smooth functional prototypes. Some of the advantages of using these tools is create super easy and quick wireframes, then high accessibility through Adobe Creative Cloud and mobile app, create quick mobile app prototypes and user flows, and then share previews and gather feedback. In the end, export assets for iOS and Android. Here are some of the resources mentioned throughout our presentation. And I would like to thank you for being here today to listen to my presentation. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Thank you.